Every founder dreams of building the next big success story, but too many startups stumble, not because their ideas were bad, not because the market wasn't ready, but because they overlooked the basics of legal protection. The truth is, your company doesn't only compete in the marketplace of products and ideas, it also operates in a world governed by contracts, intellectual property rights, and employment law. These legal foundations might not feel as exciting as product launches or fundraising, but they are every bit as critical. They determine whether your hard work is protected, whether disputes derail your progress, and whether you build something that investors, customers, and employees can truly trust. Contracts, IP protection, and employment practices are not red tape. They are the scaffolding that holds your company together and allows you to grow with confidence. Many promising startups fail because of preventable legal mistakes. When you ignore contracts, intellectual property, or compliance, you're essentially building a company on sand. The first reason legal foundations matter is risk mitigation. Contracts clearly define responsibilities, expectations, and consequences. Without them, you're exposed to disputes, broken promises, and liabilities that can drain your resources. The second is asset protection. For most startups, intellectual property is the single most valuable asset, whether it's your brand, your technology, or your creative work. IP is what sets you apart. Protecting it makes you defensible against competitors and increases your valuation in the eyes of investors. The third is compliance shield. Employment law is complex, and regulators don't excuse ignorance. Proper hiring practices, worker classification, and fair compensation aren't just good ethics. They protect you from lawsuits, fines, and reputational damage. The key point is this: addressing legal fundamentals early is far cheaper than fixing mistakes later. Proactive planning prevents disasters. Legal foundations aren't obstacles to innovation. They are the bedrock that makes sustainable growth possible. There are four contracts that form the backbone of legal protection for startups. The first is the founder agreement. This defines roles, responsibilities, equity distribution, decision making authority, and exit procedures. Too many startups collapse because of founder disputes that could have been prevented by a simple agreement. A founder agreement ensures clarity and reduces the risk of resentment when challenges arise. The second is NDAs and confidentiality agreements. These protect sensitive information, trade secrets, algorithms, roadmaps when speaking with investors, advisors, or potential partners. NDAs create a culture of trust and help prevent leaks that could compromise your competitive edge. The third is customer contracts. Clear terms of service, service level agreements, liability limits, and payment terms create transparency with customers. They prevent disputes, build professionalism, and provide legal recourse if relationships sour. The fourth is vendor contracts. Startups often rely on outside partners, designers, developers, service providers. Without contracts, you risk missed deadlines, scope creep, and IP disputes. Vendor contracts set clear expectations for deliverables, timelines, payments, and ownership of intellectual property. Together, these four types of contracts formalize your relationships, reduce risk, and establish trust. They are not optional, they are essential tools of survival. Intellectual property is often the crown jewel of a startup. It's the unique technology, brand, or content that sets you apart from competitors. Understanding the main types of IP protection ensures you don't leave these assets vulnerable. The first is trademarks. Trademarks protect your brand identity, your name, logo, product names, and even slogans. They ensure customers can recognize you and prevent competitors from creating confusingly similar brands. The second is patents. These provide exclusive rights to inventions, processes, or technologies. They are particularly important for hardware startups or those building innovative software solutions. A strong patent portfolio can significantly increase your valuation. The third is copyrights. Copyrights protect original creative works, your code, your website designs, your marketing materials, your written content. Copyright protection is automatic upon creation, but registration strengthens your position in legal disputes. The fourth is trade secrets. Not everything needs to be patented. Some of your most valuable assets, like algorithms, customer databases, manufacturing processes, are better protected as trade secrets. The key is implementing robust security measures to ensure they remain confidential. IP protection is not about legal formalities, it's about safeguarding what makes your company valuable. Without it, competitors can copy, steal, or dilute the very assets you've worked hardest to build. Your team is the heartbeat of your startup, but without proper employment practices, even the best team can become a liability. The first rule is written agreements for all hires. Handshake deals might feel friendly, but they create ambiguity and risk. Every employee and contractor should have clear, comprehensive contracts outlining responsibilities and expectations. The second rule is IP assignment clauses. Every agreement must include language that assigns ownership of all work related intellectual property to the company. Countless startups have been forced to buy back their own technology because contractors retained ownership. The third rule is clear compensation structures. Salaries, benefits, equity grants, vesting schedules, and performance expectations should all be written down. Ambiguity here breeds conflict and undermines trust. The fourth rule is proper worker classification. Misclassifying employees as contractors can lead to massive fines, back taxes, and lawsuits. Labor laws and tax authorities take this issue seriously. Classify workers correctly from day one. Employment basics may feel tedious, but they are critical. They protect both the company and the team, creating clarity, compliance, and trust. The importance of contracts, IP, and employment practices becomes clear when we look at real world stories. Facebook got it right. From the very beginning, they had strong IP assignment agreements in place. This ensured that the code, ideas, and innovations belonged to the company, not individual contributors. Without those agreements, disputes could have derailed Facebook's growth. On the flip side, countless startups have faced IP assignment failures. Early contractors or employees who retained IP ownership forced companies into costly buybacks, or worse, forced them to abandon key features entirely. Uber illustrates the risks of misclassifying workers. By treating drivers as independent contractors, Uber faced billions in legal costs and regulatory challenges across the globe. While the debate continues, the lesson is clear. Worker classification is a major legal risk that cannot be ignored. The takeaway from these stories is straightforward. Protect intellectual property early. Formalize every relationship with written contracts and classify workers correctly. Ignoring these basics can lead to existential threats for your startup. Contracts, intellectual property protection, and employment practices may not grab headlines, but they are the invisible pillars of every successful startup. They mitigate risk, protect assets, and ensure compliance. They turn fragile relationships into formal agreements that withstand pressure. The essentials are clear. Founder agreements prevent disputes. NDAs protect sensitive information. Customer and vendor contracts formalize expectations. Trademarks, patents, copyrights, and trade secrets safeguard the assets that make your company valuable. Written agreements, IP assignment clauses, and correct worker classification protect your team and ensure compliance. The real world examples of Facebook, Uber, and others prove that these issues aren't theoretical. They make or break companies. The final takeaway is this: legal foundations are not optional. They are as essential to your startup's survival as customers, capital, or code. Address them early, address them thoroughly, and you'll build a business that's not only innovative, but also defensible, trustworthy, and sustainable.